Free games. Everybody loves free games. So today, we're going to take a look at the best free games for your MetaQuest headset. Last week here on this Saturday feature on 131XR, we took a look at the best games in VR of 2026 so far. And in that video, there was only one free-to-play game, Vortex 9, for which you can see our review up the top. But today, we're going to solely concentrate on free-to-play games for the MetaQuest headset. And we have a few here that you'll probably already be familiar with, but also some that you might not. So let's jump in with Bait. Bait is now 10 years old, can you believe it? It's a game from Resolution Games, who have quite a repertoire of VR games and experiences now, but Bait remains one of their most popular titles because it is free. Not every game in VR has to be super hardcore and action orientated, and Bait, it's a prime example of this. It's a game you can take at your own pace. You can relax and enjoy virtual vision in a variety of different locations, and you can invest in it if you so wish. You can buy add-ons. Obviously, microtransactions support this game. But by and large, you can experience quite a lot of content for absolutely free on your MetaQuest right now. Next up, we have Ultimechs, which on the surface may seem like a pretty normal mech game, but it's really not. It's more a sports game with a mech theme. You'll control rocket-powered giant mechs in a competitive multiplayer game that's really quite different to anything else that's out there on MetaQuest right now. You'll be able to engage in combat on the battlefield while you attempt to outscore your opponents in sporting activities. And it's really quite unique. If you've got the time to try something new today, Ultimechs comes as a high recommendation. And sticking with the theme of high-octane, energetic, competitive multiplayer games, we're going to go with one that you all knew was going to be in this video, Population 1. Population 1 was originally a premium priced game, but it went free to play a while ago, and since then the community has exploded. It's a game in which you can basically climb and abseil along any kind of surface, and use that to your tactical advantage in competitive multiplayer gameplay. And now we're going to go with Gods of Gravity. Now, this is a game that is still a competitive multiplayer game, but very different to anything else you will have played on Quest. It's a game about strategy. You'll be commanding fleets, capturing planets, and defending your territory against other players. Kind of think about a shooting game crossed with Risk, maybe? And you'll be pretty close to what Gods of Gravity offers. It's a game that doesn't get much attention, except for the fact that we have talked about it many times here at 131XR. But still, there is a strong community for this game. You won't have a problem finding a game playing Gods of Gravity. Now we're going to talk about a game that we haven't actually mentioned on this channel before, or at least not that I can remember. But it's one that we have been keeping an eye on, Cards and Tankards. Cards and Tankards is a collectible card battling game built for VR. It's gone free to play like many other titles recently, and in doing so has built up a large community. You can build decks, challenge your opponents, and also socialize in this fantasy tavern environment. It's an experience that feels a bit removed from a lot of what's in VR because it's a much slower pace, but it is a welcoming one. So, Cards and Tankards, if you want a bit of strategy and some card battling, Cards and Tankards is the one for you. Back to the high-octane action, we're going for Gun Raiders, which is probably the oldest experience on this list, except maybe one that's coming a bit later. Gun Raiders blends jetpacks and wall running and fast-paced gunplay. And it's a really arcadey style shooting game, a competitive shooting game in VR. It doesn't take itself too seriously, gunfights are chaotic across large maps, and the player base is pretty strong still, because the game, despite being old, has seen numerous updates throughout its lifespan. It's one of the most consistently popular games. While it doesn't reach the heights of Population 1 in terms of player numbers, it is consistently popular, so you still won't have any problem finding games in Gun Raiders. And sticking with fast-paced shooters, we have to mention Hyperdash again. Once again, this is a game that doesn't seem to get much attention, but has a strong community who are playing it day in and day out. You'll be dashing and teleporting around futuristic maps while competing for objective-based game modes. It's very much along the lines of Quake 3 Arena style shooting game, rather than it is something more slow-paced like Halo. It is fast and it is brutal. And now we're going to go with one that you all knew would be here, Gorilla Tag. There's really no other games in VR that have been quite the phenomenon that Gorilla Tag has. And as a free-to-play game for the MetaQuest headset, you cannot argue. It's not a game for everybody, but what it has done for VR is shifted the balance. Gamers coming into Gorilla Tag are typically on the younger end, and so it has made an expectation amongst those gamers for free content on the MetaQuest headset. There are some arguments that suggest this is not a good thing, but ultimately, if we're getting more people into VR, that is better for VR as the industry as a whole. So Gorilla Tag, while it may not be your kind of thing, and you might have arguments against its model and so on, you cannot deny that Gorilla Tag has been a great starting point for getting many people into VR. And the same could arguably be said about the last game we're going to talk about, VRChat. You could say that this isn't really a game, it is a social platform, but there are so many rooms in this game that do offer different kind of gaming experiences that you can play for free with your friends. Everything from escape rooms to horror experiences to game shows and role-playing adventures, it's all here in VRChat. So if there's just one free-to-play game that you're going to try today and you haven't tried VRChat, you should probably give it a go. Yes, it can be irritating with some of the people that you'll encounter, but it is quite easy to block that out and just play with your friends. So we highly recommend you give that a go. So those were our top picks for the best free-to-play games that are available on MetaQuest right now. And there are so many free-to-play games on MetaQuest that I am sure we have missed some of your favourites off this video. So please do let us know in the comments below if there's a free-to-play game that you love on MetaQuest that you think we should take a look at. Do tell us and we'll do our best to give it a try. Next week on Saturday, we're going to be back with another best free video. And this time, we're going to go a bit niche. We're going to talk about the best free games available on Pico headsets. Yeah, we haven't talked about Pico in a while, so make sure you come back next Saturday to take a look at that video if you're a Pico gamer.